thanks for joining me today. My name is Britlin. I appreciate you taking some time to practice with me. So we're going to get started right away in a child's pose. If you know what fits in your body, you can make your way there. Otherwise, I'm going to talk you through a little steps. So we want the big toes to stay touching. You can start with knees all the way together, or maybe they come as wide as the mat. They can kind of be anywhere in between together and further apart. You find what works best for you. And then start to fold forward. We're looking to let the head rest. So if you're really tight in the hips and your head doesn't come down to rest, or you're more lifted up, don't worry about it. You could have your hips lifted higher, or possibly you grab a block or even a book or something to put underneath your forehead to have more lift. Take some time to get settled. You may try knees all the way together and then decide you'd rather have them be far apart. Always give yourself time and space to find the posture that works for your body, especially if you're feeling pain or real discomfort that is not beneficial. What's important is that once you find your shape, then you settle into stillness. In the practice of yoga, we're training our minds to be more still. We are building our own muscle and strength in finding focus and concentration. So gently bring your awareness to the breath. And with each inhale, maybe you're able to lengthen it out a bit more. And you're looking to find a breath that's just really comfortable and fluid in your body. So if it starts to feel caught or your exhale out feels really choppy, then you know you've gone a little too far. Now, doing our best throughout the practice to hold on to this breath, always having a deep inhale, fluid exhale as we practice. Start to press your fingertips into the mat. Just noticing some awareness. Maybe start to walk your fingertips forward, so much so that your elbows lift off of the mat, forearms lift off. We're stretching through the whole body. Maybe there's a little rock of the forehead from side to side. All right, from here, gently lift your upper body, not all the way, just enough that you can walk your hands over to one side. I'm walking over to the right first, and then letting the head come back down to rest. The goal is that you move far enough that you can feel a stretch through the other side of your body. But we're listening in. If your hips are starting to feel like they've had enough of child's pose, then maybe you lift the weight off of your heels into more of a tabletop type of shape. Take one more inhale. And exhale, nice and slow. Start to move back through center and then over to the other side. If you needed that variation, you would be lifting up kind of a tabletop and then reaching over. Still finding a side body stretch, whether you've got weight on the heels or not. Concentrate through the mind, staying in this posture with your breath. Distractions will come, but we try to let them leave just as quickly as they floated in. One more inhale. Exhale, back through center. And from here, we will lift into a tabletop if you aren't there yet. Knees walk in a bit so that they're directly underneath your hips. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. As you inhale, drop your belly down, lift your tailbone, shoulder blades roll down the back. Exhale, spine up towards the sky. Pull the low belly in, really press the mat away. Inhale, belly drops, tailbone lifts, chest forward. Exhale, spine up. 2 more rounds, cat-cow tilts. That's what these are called. Cow pose is when the belly drops. Cat pose is when the spine lifts. Move with your breath. 1 more round. All right, come back to a neutral tabletop. Now for those of you that may have sensitive knees, possibly staying on the knees longer will start to get to you a little bit. So if that's the case, you could grab a blanket or a towel and put that under your knees just as a little bit of padding. And then from here, keep your right hand planted down. Inhale your left arm up. Just do your best to stretch through the chest. Exhale, we thread the needle. So the left arm reaches underneath the torso, over to the right side. Let your head come down. And then I like to reach my right arm straight out in front. Possibly you like to wrap your arm behind your back, reaching for the front thigh, a little bind. Or maybe your hand just stays right by your face. We're holding for 1 more deep breath. Exhale that out. Then slowly start to bring your hand back by your face so that you can begin to lift up. If you'd like, you inhale and reach the left arm up 1 more time. Big stretch. Exhale, lower the hand. Plant the left hand. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, thread the needle. Reach as far as you can underneath you. Let your head come down and rest. We want the hips to stay pretty square so they're not reaching over to the side as well. So you could bring your hand to your low back just to feel that they've stayed kind of facing straight to the front of the mat. And then do whatever you would like with the left arm. Long inhales. Fluid exhales. One more deep breath in. Exhale it out. And begin to unwind. Left hand plants. You may reach your right arm up. Deep inhale. Exhale. Lower your hand down. All right, from here, meet me in a down dog. So, fingers spread wide, about shoulder width distance apart. Tuck the toes under, hips lift up and back. You're making kind of like an A shape without the line across, or upside down V shape. Looking for a straight spine. You might find some movement, just starting to warm up the legs. We've got 2 more breaths here. All right, take an inhale and lift your heels up high and just start to tiptoe your way, little Barbie steps up to the front of your mat. It's okay if it doesn't feel graceful. Do your best, and then we'll arrive in a forward fold. My hamstrings are tight today, so my knees are quite bent. And I'm going to continue with just a little bit of movement, swaying from side to side. You do what feels best. We've got 2 more breaths. Really Release the weight of your head. One more breath. Now inhale and halfway lift. So extend your spine as much as you can towards the front of the room, your front of your mat. Lengthening, roll your shoulders back. Engage your low belly. This will help you find even more length through the crown of your head. And we take one more breath here. Exhale, release down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Knees are soft, and then super strong legs as you rise. Exhale, hands at heart center, and then down by your sides. Notice how you're feeling. If there's already some challenge, maybe some heat building in the body, that's good. We're warming up. Try to embrace the challenge. And on an inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Tent your fingers. Lift your left leg up. Reach it as high as you can. Deep inhale. Exhale, step it all the way back. Arriving in a runner's lunge. Let's find a little movement into the hips. A little bounce up and down. Kind of give you more of a stretch on the front of the left hip, and then it'll ease you out of that. One more breath. And exhale, back knee drops down. Untuck your back toes. Use an inhale to lift your upper body, arms reach up. Now always remember, you're just doing what you can. So that may mean that you skip some of the things that I offer. Maybe your hands are still down on the mat or resting on blocks on either side of your foot. If that's the case, that's fine. Everyone press down firmly through the right foot, through the heel. And if you'd like, inhale, look up, reach up, maybe a tiny bit back. Exhale, hands lower to the mat. Lift your back knee. Lift your back foot up, deep inhale, lift as high as you can. Exhale, set your foot down next to the other. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, we rise all the way up. Have your core help you get there. Exhale, hands through heart center and down by your sides. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Tent your fingers. Lift your right foot back and up as high as you can. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, step your foot back nice and far. Extend the length between your feet even more if you need, so that you've got this nice low lunge. Hands are tented on the mat, or possibly you're using blocks under your hands for more height there. Couple more breaths to move. One more inhale. Exhale, back knee drops down. Inhale, we rise up. So legs are active here. This is not a time to just rest everything and sink in as deep as you can. It's a time to stay active. And when you do, you'll realize you still get a really nice stretch in the front of the hip. It's just an active stretch. So building strength and flexibility at the same time. Now, if you're lifted up and you'd like, inhale, look up, reach up, maybe a tiny bit back. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat. One more mini standing splits. That's what we've been doing. So back knee lifts, and then back foot lifts as high as you can. Deep inhale. Exhale, lower your foot down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up. heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back, plank pose. Now, if you know how you like to flow your vinyasa, feel free to take that. I'll walk you through if you're not sure. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down. Maybe your knees were already lowered first. Inhale, back bend, cobra pose. Lift your chest, shoulders down. Exhale, all the way back, down dog. Remember, there's many variations to that. So if that's the first one that you have learned, then maybe you stick with that. There's others you know and it fits with your body or energy today, then feel free to change it up. Now from here, take a bend in your knees and make your way to the front of your mat. Hopping or walking, and inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands at heart center. All right, moving with control, very important part of the practice. Being aware of what our body needs to do in order for us to get into and out of every shape. It'll make it much safer to practice. So, right foot stays where it is. Inhale, lift your left foot up. Now, take your time. No rush. You're going to slowly start to extend your left foot back behind you. Reach your leg long, bending through your right knee. We step back into a lunge as lightly as possible. Maybe rocking your foot a little further back to extend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we open into warrior two. So the back heel rotates down. Front knee stays stacked over the front ankle and facing forward. Don't let it bow in with you as you turn. Look out over your front reaching hand. Warrior two. How is your breath? Send more energy into your back leg. Straighten it out. Press down through your foot and we flip the front palm. One inhale, reach up. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Runner's lunge. We take a step forward, maybe lift your foot as high as you can. And exhale, set your foot down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Soft knees, inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands at heart center. Now take your time. If you rush into any pose, especially when balancing on one leg, I believe the chances are much greater that you may fall out. So you take your time as you shift weight into your left foot, and then lift your right foot off of the mat. Now engaging your low belly by your belly button is going to be a great way to bring more stability into your body. And when you're ready, slowly start to extend your right leg back. Left knee bends. Step back as softly as you can. Create a longer stance if you need, and then inhale, arms up. Exhale, open up. Just simply rotating the back heel down. It seems simple, but it's actually not always the most graceful or easy thing to do. So remember that all of this is practice. No one ever expected someone to come onto their mat and just be perfect at the practice right away. It's meant to be a lifelong thing. Always something to learn. Now your low belly is still engaged here. Breath will give you more stamina. Flip your front palm. Inhale, we reach up, reverse warrior. Exhale, hands cartwheel down, back heel lifts, runner's lunge. When you're ready, back foot lifts up, maybe you lift it high, deep inhale. Exhale, set your foot down next to the other. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, we rise up one more time. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Hands plant, step to plank. Knees may be lifted or lowered. We flow. So the main rule of thumb is exhale lowers you down. Inhale for a back bend. Exhale, down dog. From down dog, take a bend in your knees, look between your hands, and make your way to the front of your mat. Walking, hopping, try to land lightly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, use soft knees, strong core, rise up. Exhale, hands at heart center. All right, now you're going to turn on your mat so that you're facing one of the long sides and simply step nice and wide. All right, make sure, look down, all your toes are facing towards the side of your mat, so they're not bowing out at all, but staying straight on. Strong legs, bring your hands to your waist, and on an inhale or lift through your chest, maybe you look up. Exhale, we start to lower slowly. Try to keep your spine long. Your knees can bend, and then maybe your hands leave your waist and come down to rest. From here, you can shift if you'd like your feet a little further apart or a little closer together. And try to let the weight of your upper body lower. Now, if you are double jointed and your knees can lock into place, try to keep your legs active. So we aren't just locking back in a very restful way, but we're keeping the thighs engaged, lifting the kneecaps up. And that goes for everybody. Now, bring hands back under your shoulders if you happen to move them. And on an inhale, halfway lift. Now from here, start to walk your hands over towards your right foot and begin to bend through your right knee. Now you'll probably lift up on or off of the heel. Left leg is straight. Now perfectly fine to keep your hands down on the mat here. Focus on the stretch you're feeling in the left leg or the lifting of your heel. And if you'd like to try, then take your time and maybe you lift your hands up to your heart. Just options. We're holding for another deep round of breath. Stay for the exhale. Good, now use your inhale to slowly walk your hands back to the middle, lifting so that both legs are straight. Relax through your upper body. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands start to walk over to the left, and we lower down. Feel free to move a little bit. You may have to pull your right foot closer to you, or maybe you're grabbing props so that hands can be on blocks. This is called Skandasana, or sometimes surfer's lunge. Now, if you're going for the toe stand without hands on the mat, and focus your eyes on one thing. This is a good practice whether you're balancing or not. You're asking your mind to focus. You're giving it a job, something that you want it to focus upon. And it happens to help with balance. One more full round of breath. Then slowly, hands walk to the middle. Straighten your legs. Upper body lowers. Inhale, halfway lift. Now, little challenge, you may pause here, do your best. Knees can bend. Bring your hands to your waist. Long spine. Rise all the way up. Nice job. From here, we turn and step to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Plant your hands, step back, your flow. From here, drop your knees down. Maybe they're wide, maybe they're close together. We lower into a child's pose. Take another breath. And then slowly come up to a seat. We're going to swing the legs around and come into a simple cross-legged. And then I'm going to give some options. So we'll be doing a forward fold, and it'll kind of create a hip opener because of the way we're sitting. So a simple cross-legged seat may be perfect for you. If your hips feel tight already, or maybe you start to lean forward, you feel something, you stay. If you'd like to feel a bit more, here's two more options. You can come into a half lotus pose, where one foot lifts up, kind of coming towards the hip crease. Yeah, one foot on top, other one's below. This may be a good place to be. Still not enough? Then, similar to half lotus, but the shins are parallel to the front of your mat or side of your mat if you're sitting like me. And the shins stack. So for some of you, you may be able to stack and knee is on top of ankle, ankle on top of knee. For me, there's some space here. But you find what works for you. And we'll go into our fold. So sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, start to walk your hands out in front of you. If your seat wants to lift a ton, then maybe you've hit your sweet spot. Or if your low back feels like it's really rounding, then I'd encourage you to stop where you can keep your spine lengthened out from that space. With the low back lengthened, and maybe you allow a bit of rounding into the shoulders and upper back, just for relaxation. Remember, don't stay if this causes you any pain, a discomfort that feels beneficial. Our bodies know the difference between pain and that kind of discomfort. So if you are uncomfortable, but you know that it's because of a beneficial stretch to be in, then you stay 2 more breaths. One more deep inhale. And exhale. And slowly lift all the way up. Now we must balance out, so we're going to switch sides. So simply just changing the crossing of your legs, Or if you were going for half lotus or fire log where the shins are stacked, then different foot on top. Now, sitting up nice and tall, do your best here. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, you may start to fold. I don't think I said it on the other side, but keep in mind that folding isn't required. So if you were already feeling enough of a stretch being upright, then you just stay exactly where you are, being with your breath. That's what matters most. And remember, no negative thoughts on the mat. Our ego will try to slip those in throughout the practice at times. Just like any other thought, goal is to let that go. To refocus on being here. And connect more deeply with our true selves, which the true part of us is grateful for all movement on the mat, all breath while on the mat. Our true self is not concerned with how anything looks or what we are able to achieve. It is just happy to be here. So connect with that. 2 more breaths. All right, start to lift. Uncross your legs. And before lying down, 1 boat pose. So boat pose could be your feet staying down on the mat, kind of a tilt with the spine and low belly engaged. So the spine being long, chest open, and low belly working is true for any variation of the pose. But if able, maybe you lift your feet off of the mat and hands might come behind your thighs to help you here. Possibly your arms reach out long, or maybe you're straightening your legs, which I am not going to do for this one today. And we're holding for just 10. Deep breathing the whole time, 9. Maybe you point your toes, 8. Chest open, 7. Face soft, 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands behind the thighs. Let your feet come down. And if you need a little bit more core work, you roll down nice and slow. We'll meet lying down so you can make your way faster if you'd like. All right. Soles of the feet are on the mat. Heels underneath the knees, arms down by your sides. We're going to do 2 rounds of bridge pose, not very long for either. So do your best here. All right, on an inhale, we start to lift the hips up, peeling vertebrae by vertebrae off of the mat. Now engage your low belly. Engage through your inner thighs as if you're holding onto a block and trying to squeeze. You've got this. 1 more round of breath. Final inhale. Exhale, lower down slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let the low back press into the mat. Now, for those of you with wheel in your practice, feel free to take that now. I'm going to stick with another bridge, but if you already know wheel, you may take that. Now, second set. Press down through the heels. Inhale, lift up. You may interlace your fingers underneath you. If you do that, you can walk your shoulders a little bit further underneath you as well, and you'll feel your upper body lift higher, so a bit more of a back bend happens. Continue lifting through your hips, breathing wherever you are, especially if you chose wheel. Make sure your breath is there. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, we lower nice and slow. Low back presses into the mat. We just hold in stillness for a few moments. Let the spine neutralize. All right. From here, if you'd like, you can windshield wipe your legs just a couple times back and forth. If you felt a pinch in your low back, then that's something to reassess, to be careful with. Not something you should ever feel while back bending. So be mindful. Change the shape if you need, or skip back bends for a time. From here, knees come into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, and then let your legs fall over to the left side. You may reach your right arm out long. We're trying to open up the chest to the ceiling and keep both shoulders down, so twisting through the spine. Deep breaths. Buddha belly breaths. Let the belly really expand. Two more. All right, start to come back to center. Maybe you give yourself a little squeeze, and then let your legs fall to the other side, right side. Chest is still doing its best to stay open. With knees together, it's usually a little easier to let the legs fall over to the side, but if there's space between you and the floor, then you could take a blanket and put that underneath your right thigh, kind of bringing the floor to you so that you can rest onto something. Now, belly breaths. Two more breaths. Soften your face. Let your eyes close. One more. All right, come back to center. Now, knees pull into the chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. And you may just hold here a little comforting squeeze for a couple breaths. Possibly you've got more energy to release before the end of practice. So you lift your shoulders and your head off of the mat. Give your knees a little kiss with the forehead. Hold and squeeze for 3, 2, and 1. And then everyone, release your limbs all the way down. Depending on the space you're in, maybe you can really let your body starfish out, take up space. Let your breath return to normal. And your entire body gets to be soft. Nothing has to work. Even if thoughts of judgment are present and it's hard to let them go completely, still say a thank you to yourself for the time you spent on your mat, moving your body and breathing. That thank you will soak in even if thoughts in the mind feel a little bit louder than that right now. Now, as usual, I encourage you to stay in that resting position as long as you're able. And just let your body truly rest, soaking up the benefits of the practice. When you're ready to be complete, you may rise up, and even if the video is turned off, hands may come to heart center. I appreciate each and every one of you practicing with me today. Namaste.